Alright guys, it's a new day and today we are working on the side panels. I'm not sure where I left off last time. I don't know if I showed any of the side panel stuff, but this is like a month and a half later from the last time I was working on it. But anyway, so I have this thin particle board that I'm making the sides out of, and I traced this template out. Now the template I actually got from making another piece just like it. So this one took me a really long time to make. So I just kind of took rough measurements of the car. The height of the trunk is from here to here. So that's where I got that measurement. And then this, which is kind of a guess at first, and then I just trimmed it off as I needed it and kept placing it in there. And then right here is where the subwoofer box goes in here. So as you can see, my template isn't exact, but it's basically how I ended up needing it. So I was off by a little bit when I made it. This front part is basically dead on accurate. I'm gonna add a little bit more material there to this corner. And then right here, this was off a little bit. This bend is where it needed to be. So I have this line right here. And then over here you can see it just needs to be a little bit longer, but other than that, this thing is basically perfect, exactly how I needed it. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out right now. Alright, and now that we have our piece, we gotta put the bends in it. So if we take a look here, you can see that the bends pretty much perfectly match up with the template here. This is where the bend is going to be, right on this edge. It's going to continue this edge, and then on this one it's measured in a little bit from that one. I didn't actually measure it, I'm just using the template to go off of. And I'm going to show you how to put these actual bends in the piece. So you can't really do this without a test piece right there, but what you want to do is you want to adjust your saw so that the blade is just barely sticking out like that. And then you want to do a little test cut on there to see what kind of, because you want to cut some of the material, out of the way so that it's easier to bend. So you just make it so the saw barely sticks through, and then you can just go ahead and do a test cut on whatever piece you have and see how good it is. So, and if you take a look right there, you can see the cut that I just put in there, and then you can take the piece and bend it. And then see how clean your bend is on this side, and this is actually perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this on the other piece. We're invincible. And there we go, now we can put a little test bend in here. Like that, that's how it's gonna be bent in this one. There we go, now we got a nice clean bend right there. It's not perfect, but when we put the material on it, nobody will ever be able to tell. And I'm gonna go put it in the car and see how it looks. Alright, so if you take a look here, you can see I have the piece in, the bends are perfect. So how this is gonna work is this bend is actually where this piece juts out right here. There isn't one of these on the other side. It actually can go straight over this. But I wanted to have the bends equal on both sides. So that's where that bend is there. This one up here is pretty good. Sits on top of the box just like that. There's a little bit of gap here, but once I put the material in, you're not really gonna see that. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just gonna have the material a little bit longer so it goes around like that and then just goes straight back that way. So, should look pretty good when I'm done, but I'll go ahead and start making the other side. All right, I have my piece here for the side and I have my fabric over the top of it. Now I have it laid out exactly where it needs to be. I've measured everything out, so what I'm going to do is just spray a little piece up in here so that it stays and doesn't go anywhere while I'm messing with the rest of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that really quick. You can see right on the camera where I sprayed the fabric. Hopefully that comes out eventually. We'll see. Alright, so here's the finished piece. I left these loose because the box is going to slide in here and it's going to push that back and push this back, and that's going to make like a tight fit where there's gaps, you won't be able to see them. And then down here I left this unconnected because this is going to cover over the hump where the strut mount goes. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in and we'll see how it looks and go from there. So here's the wall. It actually looks really good in there. So what I'm going to do now is right down here, I'm just going to draw around here so I know where to cut. And then I'm just going to cut that excess fabric down there, and then this side's going to be done. So I'm going to go ahead and do this side and the other side, and then I'll show you guys the end result. It's super late, so I'm going to call it a night tonight. I didn't get to these sides here. I still want to wrap this right there and right there, but I did finish these sides. They look really good in there, and as you can see, something that I didn't show is I actually made these triangle pieces to wedge back here. Just because I didn't like the way it looked back there. So it looks a little bit better with those triangles that I made. Still doesn't look the greatest, at least not to my standards, but it's good enough. So here we go. We'll pick back up on this another day.